This video is sponsored by Fiverr, connecting you with the freelancers you need to help build your brand, including logo designers, special effects artists, voiceover talent, SEO specialists, and much, much more. So be sure to click that link down in the description and check out my curated store for my most recent recommendations on my top Fiverr sellers. And video starts now.
You know this by now. What? I am a big fan of the Onewheel. But there are other companies that are trying to do similar things, specifically abroad. And today I wanted to test one of those things out. So ow! Son of a god! It's heavy! What the? Why? Got it. This company is one of them, and apparently they're called Surfwheel, and I don't know if they're any good at all. I suspect they're not, but I'm happy to test it out. That worked. My hand hurts.
Surfwheel, surfing on land.
Surfwheel.
Oh my god. This is going really well.
I want to say it looks cool. And that's all. Warning, risk of death or serious injury. So this is it, huh? It's something. So this is the Surfwheel. It's the one-wheeled electric skateboard that is not a one-wheel. See, I've been riding my one-wheels for several years now, and it's incredible, but it's expensive. But it's incredible, but it's expensive. The Onewheel XR is like $1,800 US dollars. That's like 75,000 Canadian dollars or something like that. I don't know. This past year they came out with a more budget version, which is called the Pint, but that's still 950 US dollars, aka 9,000. Okay, that's stupid. It's still quite a lot of money. This Surfwheel, on the other hand, comes in at just $500. So this is almost half the price of the Onewheel Pint. And the question remains, is it half as good? So that's the question I want to ask. Would you rather have 2 Surfwheels or 1 Pint? Let's find out.
Look, it's got wheels.
This is not a Onewheel ripoff. It has 5 wheels.
Do you think we should read anything, or should we just turn it on and see what happens? Oh.
Surfwheel starts.
So that's the front. Oh, I got it. Let's go.
What did it say?
Overload, maybe?
I want to hear what she's saying. For the past month or 2 or 3 or something, I've had the Surfwheel at the studio here, and I've tried to let everyone who comes through here try it out. This is that.
Brody, can I borrow you? This is called a Surfwheel.
It's surprisingly heavy. This is indicative of its quality.
Yeah.
Blends right in.
Surfwheel starts. Surfwheel begins.
What the? Why?
Most of those guys have had some experience on the Onewheel, some more than others. And let's just say the Surfwheel is not the most intuitive thing, but maybe it gets better with time.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record.
All right, off to the studio. Whoa! The Onewheel serves 3 main purposes, or poor pie, in my life. And I want to see if the Surfwheel can hold its own in those 3 areas at just half the price. Test number 1, the Commute.
Okay, I think crossing the street is gonna be interesting. Ah, it's awful. Why? All right, hands in my pockets. We're doing good. Oh, why? Why? I think I really overestimated my ability to ride to the studio on this thing today. Oh gosh. So this is my daily home to studio commute. I've been doing it for about 2 years now, most days on the Onewheel. So I figured, why not try it on the Surfwheel to see if it's actually a cheaper alternative to the Onewheel. Okay. What? Was that hill too steep? I'm moving. I'm actually cruising right now. Oh, this is not gonna be good. Sorry, thank you. So while talking to the Surfwheel team on Instagram, they told me that the way they want you to turn and ride is like this. Like an S pattern, because apparently that's how you surf. But this shoulder wiggle S ride poses one big problem, which is that essentially the board wants to go wherever your body mass is facing. It's kind of like this.
See, imagine come on. Imagine you're standing on a computer chair and you want to face the camera. So you swivel, but your body, you can't really make it go places. You just constantly are swaying back and forth.
I'm definitely getting more comfortable. Zigzagging the paint. Oh yeah. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Just look at that. Oh, we gotta turn this way. I don't know how to turn. Oh yeah! It definitely seems like once you have some momentum, it's a little bit easier to control. But also once you have momentum, every little bump means you like, come on, do that. I really don't like being on a road with cars. Got the hardest part of the commute coming up, the railroad crossing. Verdict: I would avoid bumps, railroads, and hills at all costs. At all costs. Why? So that was the commute test, and you could commute on it, but honestly don't. Unless you live in a mall and you just have to ride a perfectly smooth marble floor for 5 minutes, it just is not a commuter vehicle.
I just wouldn't trust something like this that on multiple occasions has thrown itself in reverse across roads. I just wouldn't trust that around cars or people or children. But another thing we do here though is make trips from here to the storage units we have in the building when we need to exchange gear. So does this work as just a around the studio, fun having, errand running device? Test number 2 is the studio help. Are you ready? I've got to be honest, I think the funnest thing about this is just how ridiculous the board is. I mean, it certainly has not been practical to get things from the storage unit, but it has been funny. How I can barely turn without... How I can't really go down inclines in the building or up inclines on the streets. How sometimes the board just launches itself across the street behind you. That's fun, right? That's fun. This is easier to carry.
Yeah, I mean...
So, is it fun to have around the studio? Sure, yeah, kind of, maybe, no, yes, Yes. I mean, Christoph hates it, but I think it's funny. And finally, the third thing I use my Onewheel for is just off-road adventures. But the Surfwheel has been very clear. This is not an off-road vehicle. Yeah, for the off-road test, that's an instant. All right, so I don't want this to be all bad, just bashing this thing. I mean, there's some positive things to it, right? The thing is covered in LED lights, and that's a vibe, and when you turn it on, it talks, so...
Surfwheel starts.
The wheel itself is tiny, which means if you fall, you're closer to the ground. And you have almost no risk of nosedives because your nose is basically always scratching against the ground. It's fun. It's fun to just give it to people for the first time and say, hey, try this thing. And they say, what is that? And I say, who cares? But there is one big problem that the Surfwheel has. And it's not that it feels like you're riding a VCR, and it's not that you can basically only ride on completely flat and smooth surfaces, and even then, maybe not. See, it feels kind of like a hoverboard and a Onewheel had a baby, except it inherited only the flaws of its parents. At least on a hoverboard, you can stand it and spin in circles. I guess what this goes to show is that just because a company sends me a product does not mean it is a sponsored video. However, this was a sponsored video, and the video is sponsored by Fiverr.
Fiverr enables creatives all over the world by connecting us with a global community of freelancers to help us build our brands, including logo designers, animators, voiceover artists, copywriters, website developers, and all sorts of other things that you're gonna need to support your growth. Because let's be honest, there are all sorts of things that I am just no good at, so anytime that I can offload that work to someone who specializes in it, you best believe I'm gonna do that. Fiverr has the talent that you need to make it happen. So what are you waiting for? Go check my curated store down in the description below for my recent recommendations of top Fiverr sellers. And if there's anything else that you'd like to see on my store, shoot me a message. Let's chat about it. Make something happen. Okay, that's all. Good night. I love you. Bye.
There we go. What? Ow! Okay. Ow. Why did it just throw itself away from me?